Late at night, I'm scrolling through my feed, looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine, just like a flower portal to another time. A channel with a mystical flair. Gotta make the lesson set and clear. 369Dimension readings take me to the higher place. I'm locking my intuition, feeling spirit's embrace. From a path to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
But I wasn't asleep, and I immediately I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, but I didn't forget, and I was awake. I can't explain it though, but I wasn't asleep.
Hey, you want to turn up the volume on your medical cannabis wellness journey, but don't know how? You want the ease of getting the products you need delivered to your front door? Then follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1, go to nugmd.com, your portal to a hassle-free path to medical cannabis. Answer a few quick questions and see if you qualify for a medical recommendation letter. It's a remix of convenience and ease. Don't worry, you only pay if you're approved. Step 2, congratulations! You're approved and armed with your medical recommendation letter. Now, you can use the official 369 Music Talk Higher.Health link to sign up and make your first purchase. Step 3, head over to Higher.Health, your go-to destination for premium cannabis essentials. From soothing strains to focus-boosting blends, they've got the beats covered. Turn up the wellness, turn up the creativity. Visit nugmd.com and Higher.Health today. nugmd.com and Higher.Health, your rhythm to wellness unlocked.
life.com.
But I don't have or take issue with locking myself out of something that doesn't resonate with me. Like if I don't feel called to it, or it's like, you know what, I'm starting to learn about this. Now there's a difference between cognitive dissonance and just like, there's a difference between that, and then there's a difference versus choosing to, you know, maybe explore it a little bit, and then once you're like, I don't like the way this feels, or this is giving me like a bad feeling, I feel like that's different than just, well, maybe not so different. I feel like I just, but do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm trying to say anyway?
It is a difference, because I know that we tend to, you know, go towards what we resonate with, and then we can still get locked in a system of being content with what we're comfortable with and never go outside of it. So in order to, if you really are trying to like keep learning about yourself, something's going to happen that disrupts it, to kind of forces you to keep learning or go outside your box, go outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, I don't think I have a box, but I get what you're saying. And I feel like that does happen, at least in my little bubble over here. I feel like that's something that happens to everyone. It's just, do you recognize it?
That's the layers that you go through, is the many different layers of not realizing what had you kind of locked in a paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I started learning like occult stuff, I wanted to know like the origins of racism and devil worship, and so I started studying like Aleister Crowley, Madame Blavatsky, seeing why they did things in a certain way. But just studying all this stuff, can people be possessed, their perspective, their mind state, their psychology, to get a complete round analysis of why they were doing what they were doing. And then it's like, once you start studying all this stuff, you realize like a lot of this stuff, they were just doing it for hype. They took information from other people. They purposely gave it a persona to make it scary for certain people.
How do you know that though?
Just studying it all, studying, like I said, the books, who write the books, where did they come from, their history, why they do it, how it relates, how it compared to other people that do the same aspect or same type of magic. Because it's not really dark magic or anything like that. It's all about energy. So even the labels, the definitions, most of it is psychology to control the mind, to make a prison in the mind. So it's like all this stuff that you fear, it ain't even no point of fearing it because you're all of it.
I mean, I agree with that. It would just be, so the books that you're reading about them, did they ever write any of them? Like,
you have different people. You got to look at who writes it and why. Like, you might have a person write a book on Madame Blavatsky, but then you learn about that writer. He was in the alt-right or something like that. He was a Nazi. Or you got to know what perspective they're even coming from to even give you the information.
Yes, that's what I was, okay, I didn't communicate that well, but that's what I was saying or like asking. That's why I asked if they wrote any of the books that you read about them. And
then the other part is just experience, because I was experiencing so many different things. I was like, okay, I used to date somebody that was the granddaughter of Margaret Sanger, and Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist, and she was like a high-ranking Eastern Star, which is a Mason. Yes. And that's how I learned about them directly, was from somebody from their family that was telling me like, yeah, we grew up doing black magic, and they were telling me all the things that they experienced. Yeah, and then I was experiencing stuff, being around them. So I was like, okay, I need to find out what this stuff is.
Interesting. So you feel like you saw some shit firsthand?
Yeah, a lot of shit.
Okay.
Baby, you know where to start when you need a fresh cut, want that head to slow. Fly Factory Barber Lounge is the place to be. In Lawrenceville, GDA, where you feel for free. So give them a call or just stop by. Fly Factory Barber Lounge, let them get you fly. With that 808 beat and the vibe so live. You leave with a smile and a stylish style. Fly Factory Barber Lounge, they'll treat you right. Up in the clouds and going. Do you wanna fly with me?
Alright, I do ask you to go on ahead and check out, and then if you should so feel, subscribe to my live channel, Pretty Hotel 333, as that is where we do our live reads. Alright, let's see what y'all got going on.
369 merch. Link in description. Scan QR code now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I saw, what was it? Like a succubus, ghost.
Firsthand?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I understand that fear is an illusion, but there is some shit that I just don't, I'm okay with locking myself off to some things. I don't need to know everything. I can just see what I need to see from the outside.
That's what you think until you go through the experiences.
Nothing with the second. I'm good. And you know what? I'm okay with thinking that too. I could be completely wrong, and that is okay for me. Like, I'm okay being wrong about that in particular. So that's one I will write on out with.
But it all serves a purpose. Once you learn what it is and what it's for, why it happens, it's not necessarily something that's outside of you. It's just all different energies.
Yep.
You attract certain energies during certain periods and certain times. It's like cycles. Like, you look at nature. Nature has cycles. Certain things happen during the spring. Certain things happen during the summer.
Yeah.
Certain things happen when you have positive energy, when you have negative energy. So that's all a part of your experience here. So this place can be a prison planet, but the thing that's deep down in you, you know that this can be like a paradise.
I believe it's the way that you perceive and choose to perceive, because before you can really even be like aware that before you can get to the point of choosing, you have to get to the point of realizing that you didn't already know at some point. Is that okay? Do you follow me?
Yeah, you can choose either or, but it's all a part of the lesson.
Well, yeah, because like you said, it's purpose. It's purpose. Anything can be used, manipulated. Would you say it's the atoms? I mean, that's honestly what everything breaks down to.
Just think about all the people that reincarnate, that know that they have reincarnated.
Yes, I want to meet them all and talk to them, and I want to know what I can do to be able to. But in all seriousness, yes.
But just think about the lessons that they have to constantly go through, because some of these people, they remember multiple lives too. They'll remember 2 and 3 times. Like, one person, he kept dying the same way each time. He kept falling in the river. Like, the first time, some people murdered him, beat him up, threw him in the river. He came back. The guy that got him killed ended up dying, and he lived to see that. And then he fell in the river, died, and then reincarnated back again, all within the same family. So his family members are knowing each time he's coming back.
Okay, that's on the link that you sent me. Damn, I wish I had time to watch it. I'll watch it.
aprettylowlife.com. Watch Putting Things into Context on YouTube at 369Dimension Readings. Subscribe now.
Game restarts.
Guess I wouldn't know. They say crazy doesn't know crazy. So.
No, it's like the more that you start learning about like yourself and what this place is that's why a lot of people be in hermit mode. Like, the more they start finding out, because it's like, damn, what's going on? What's real? Am I just projecting all of this? Past lives is all detailed information to me.
So you remember how many past lives? Because how many would you say that people have? It could be thousands. It could be all the way back to caveman time. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not gonna say that for me. But I've heard stories and watched stuff where people were like, they're connected to Egypt, they're connected to Atlantis, they're connected to all of these places, and I'd be low-key jealous. Like, I want to know. I want to remember.
Man, I tried to count, but it's pointless to me, because it's like it's all spread out. So it's like the memories are kind of spread out, and then I put them together like a puzzle, because it is like a timeline in each life. But I remember so many different lives and different experiences. So when people be like, yeah, they from Egypt or something like that, those are periods of time, but it doesn't go linear. Like, why do you think there's no existence of those people now, the Mayans and Aztecs, and they didn't just disappear?
It was a different time.
There's like time portals That's time skips, time jumps. It's not linear.
I wish I knew exactly how it was. I understand that it's not linear, but if like the pattern is up, down, to the right a little bit, and turn around and dump, then I want to know that sequence because I want to see some things. Like I will learn that shit. Like I gotta have 2 times. I gotta where do I have to go? But like
it's just tapping into yourself. It's
yeah, right, yes, but for real, like.
It's like the more honest you are with yourself, like your memories, the stuff that you're experiencing, you keep putting yourself to sleep by putting labels and locking yourself into a psychology. That's why I sent you that video. Like your mind is a prison because you keep talking yourself out of what you really are.
Well, I don't personally. No, I don't. Well, maybe I do. And then I'm not aware to the manner in which I do, but I would like to think like I don't like to project negativity or what I deem as negativity or just like things that I don't want, right? I don't like to speak those things, and I don't like, I'm not gonna ever be like I hate myself, I'm so dumb, because that's not true. But so it's not like that, but I listened to that, and you know, I understand what he was saying, but I don't know that that's me.
Well, you said it for yourself. You could be putting yourself in a prison without you knowing it because you have so many layers of programming that you don't realize that are there. But the main way to realize what type of programming you have is fears. What do you limit yourself on? If you box yourself out of certain information, if you say, hey, I'm not going to listen to that information because I don't like that vibe or that energy, that means you're automatically locking yourself out of something. That's still a form of programming.
Late at night I'm scrolling through my feed, looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine, it's like I found a portal to another time. A channel with a mystical flair, gotta make the lesson set and clear. 369Dimension readings take me to the higher place. Unlocking my intuition, feeling spirit's embrace. From empath to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
But I wasn't asleep, and I immediately I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, but I didn't forget, and I was awake. I can't explain it though, but I wasn't asleep.
So have you had what are your situations with deja vu?
It used to happen every so often, and then it would happen a little more often. So it used to not happen often. Then it started to happen maybe a few times a year. And then now it's like a little more, I would say once a month, but it's more than that. So maybe like 2 times, maybe a month or so. And it's like, so that's why it intrigued me when someone asked a question on slow Bella, because I'm like, wait a minute though, because it started to happen to the point where it's like, dang, deja vu again. Like I just had it the other day. Have you ever had deja vu?
Yep. Extremely a lot.
Extremely a lot, huh?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's an awful lot. Extremely a lot.
Because it got to the point, like, it started off, it'll be like deja vu. You'd be kind of confused, like, I've seen this before, I've done this before. Because it'll be moments where I just stop in my tracks, like, I did this already. And I'm like,
Yes.
so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then I started realizing it's memory. A lot of it's memory because I'm jumping around. I could have the dream that I'm doing something, then I was like, oh yeah, I did this in the dream, which means I've already went to this point in time.
Is that what it means? Is that your perspective that you, because it does, like, it's kind of the same thing for me. Like the other day when it happened, I was just chilling in my bed, watching TV, and I'm like, yo, this whole thing like actually already happened, and it's trippy. So you think it's, what is your take?
I view it as we don't live in linear time. We're not moving in a straight line. I think we're always moving around, and we're existing and not existing at the same time. It started speeding up for me more, like the deja vu things. You know, first it'll be like every few months, and then it was like every day, because it started
every day.
If I wake up at a certain time, like I'll dream certain parts of my day before it happened.
Damn. Oh, so that's like, so you get premonitions. That's what that is. Okay. That happens every day?
Almost. It depends if I sleep, if I get enough sleep.
Do you think that has something to do with it? Because that would make sense. Like if you don't get enough sleep, then you have it more?
Yeah, if I get enough sleep, it's like I get more information. But if I'm tossing and turning and don't sleep for that long, I don't see that much. Or it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
The deja vu you're talking about.
Yeah. But the other part, you know, like I have deja vu like throughout the day where it's like, you know, I did this before, or a scenery.
Multiple times in one day. It's already tripping me out as often. So multiple times. How long has that been happening?
It started speeding up more these last 2 years. My mind started realizing what it was. So it's like how I defined it started kind of like speeding it up more. Before I looked at it as this happened before, but what is it? Am I supposed to wait for something to happen? Is a message supposed to come? Or, you know, I was just kind of just sitting there blank.
Yeah. So then you think it's like you're coming back to specific points in time. It is happening more. Like instead of understanding that it's not, time isn't linear, right? So we get that. But like coming back to that exact point, is that what you're saying? And so then that's happening multiple times a day, like every day for a couple years now?
Yeah, lately it's like if I go to the park, I was sitting in the park, and then I realized I've seen this park before, even though I go to this park, but it was like I remember as a kid, I used to dream about this park. But I did it at a certain angle, and it's the shadow, and it was like the same image. It was like the images matched up in my memory. And I was like,
to the point where you froze for a second, like, wait.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is what I used to see. So it's like I remember the images, and now I'm starting to figure out, like, okay, so it's me jumping around. Those memories don't erase, but they are like scenes and dreams, little flashes. And then it's when you live it out, for me, it's like a deja vu.
Sometimes that is the case for me, but I was also just sitting here remembering, like, for the one that I had the other day, it wasn't like I had been here before or like been like in that exact spot. It was just like I already saw, how do I explain? Like I already was familiar with it, or like I saw it. Like, okay, so what happened the other day was I had the deja vu, right? Like, oh, I've done this already. But I actually was brought back to a point like a couple years ago where I was standing in my kitchen at my old apartment. I used to live downtown, and it gave me, I just basically had a flash of when I was standing there of what was And I just like, so that's kind of what I always thought. I guess everybody can have like their own interpretation. And I guess for me, maybe it is a couple different things that all fall into that same category where something is being repeated in some way, shape, or form. But with that particular situation, maybe it wasn't that I had been there, but I had already seen that a couple years ago standing in my kitchen, and like I had gotten an image of that. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but
it's the basis of it is something repeated.
Yeah.
But you're trying to figure out when did it repeat, because it's like you're jumping around. You'll see that image or that flash, or you say you were standing in your kitchen, but it happened at a different time, and then you repeated it again. So it was a future version of what you saw, and then it ended up happening. Then you experienced it.
Yeah.
But you're trying to figure out, when did you see it first?
When did I see it first? Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I had a memory come back to me again. This was a couple years ago when I lived in my old apartment. And at that time, I feel like it was a dream. And I woke up and I was telling my ex, like, I had this dream that I was like a psychic and I had dogs. Like, those were just things that were not in my like realm like 4 years ago. Like, they just weren't. And I remember that particular moment came back to me like, yo, I feel like I had a dream about this. And I was like explaining it and just went on about my day. So I guess that's probably not deja vu then. That's what you would call like a premonition then, right?
It's not really a premonition. It's your kind of time traveling. You're seeing your future self in dreams, basically. That's why I say it's not really dreams. Your mind is allowing you to see all different aspects and different times of yourself. You may think it's a dream, and then when you're in your waking state, it may happen the next day. It may happen 5 years from now. It's still like a deja vu moment because that memory is still imprinted in you. That's why it's a deja vu. So it is a repeat of something that you did. It's usually from a dream.
Yeah, I clearly remember in that moment how I felt talking about my life right now, but it just seems so like that was a crazy ass dream. Me having a dog, like what? Absolutely not. To have that moment recently, like, yo, I had a dream about this, like this shit actually happened. I remember how I felt when I was like talking about like that was very clearly a dream, like and so it just kind of like every day I'm like, wait, am I losing my mind though? Everything seems like it's okay.
Baby, you know where to start. When you need a fresh cut, want that head slow. Fly Factory Bible Lounge is the place to be. And Lawrenceville, GA, where you feel so free. So give them a call or just stop by. Fly Factory Bible Lounge, let them get you fly. With that 808 beat and the vibe so live. You leave with a smile and a stylish style. Fly Factory Bible Lounge, they'll treat you right.
During this period, the steadying influence of the Six of Hearts will cause relationship issues to be dealt with and settled. Though you might be impatient at this time, you may be forced to slow down and act responsibly in all your personal affairs. You will get exactly what you give to others now, so be especially careful in what you are putting out. Rest assured that any matters, whether legal or romantic, will result in a fair and equal settlement for all concerned.
Hey, you want to turn up the volume on your medical cannabis wellness journey, but don't know how? You want the ease of getting the products you need delivered to your front door? Then follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1, go to nugmd.com, your portal to a hassle-free path to medical cannabis. Answer a few quick questions and see if you qualify for a medical recommendation letter. It's a remix of convenience and ease. Don't worry, you only pay if you're approved. Step 2, congratulations! You're approved and armed with your medical recommendation letter. Now, you can use the official 369 Music Talk Higher.Health link to sign up and make your first purchase. Step 3, head over to Higher.Health, your go-to destination for premium cannabis essentials. From soothing strains to focus-boosting blends, they've got the beats covered. Turn up the wellness, turn up the creativity. Visit nugmd.com and Higher.Health today. nugmd.com and Higher.Health. Your rhythm to wellness unlocked.
APrettyLowLife.com.
But you always, I've come across those threads and things on social media where I came across this. Child, I don't want to start talking about people, honey, but somebody was talking about like 10 things that they would not watch because it's demonic and you're gonna go to hell. And one of the things was tarot and crystals, and she went on to explain her reasons. And I'm always interested in what other people have to say and, you know, their opinions, because again, I like learning things. So if it's something that can expand me, like tell me, like I'm a glutton for knowledge, right? And so I was really, really trying to listen objectively, but there was just, I think a lot of times, especially in this day and age, all people are really doing is repeating information, and they're not thinking about what it is that they're repeating or telling themselves or telling anybody else. And I just feel like that's a big problem. And I could just say, like, for me and mine's, like, even so I have 3 daughters, 19, 15, and 6. And they're all very, well, you can tell they're my kids. We'll say that much. They're all very, even like the 6-year-old, she'll converse with you and have like conversations and be like, oh, they're so this, they're so that. And it's like, that's because I talk to them like I want them to grow into intelligent adults that are able to see the bullshit that surrounds us. I don't believe in just telling anybody really, but children in particular too, just anything. Like the things that I was told as a child and not told to question. It took me like damn near 3 decades to get comfortable really, you know, with everything, with myself, you know what I mean? And I just think that I wish less people would walk around repeating things without thinking about them first. That was a really long way to say that.
Basically what you said is what I'm saying. Like what tarot is now is like people are just repeating things and not thinking about what they're actually saying. They're not actually taking in the information that they're hearing. It's like they hear it, then they just repeat what they just heard, not taking the time to process it, see how it actually applies. Can it be changed? And there's a lot of things on that fit that mold, because it's like religion is the same thing. Like I started going to church like when I was 5. I didn't like it because it was like, why I gotta go here?
It was long. It was long.
It was long as hell. It was just, I just knew my Sundays was like my best days. And when you check my chart, Sundays are supposed to be my good days. So it was like they took my good day away from me. And it was like, I don't believe in that. I don't have a belief system. But I understand, like, I don't knock anybody that is religious because I understand how it works.
Belief, right? Order.
Yeah, so, but I don't have a belief system. I have a no system. So okay. when I would be in church, I would sit and ask questions and they would be sitting there baffled. And I was like 8, 9, 10, you know, like talking about the Nephilim in the Bible. I'm like, here in Genesis 6:6, it says this. So what about this? And they was like, oh, I don't know. And then I'd be like, okay, what about this? This guy that was cursed to walk the world and he's supposed to be still alive now. You know, I'm going through verses and I'm like, and then y'all don't go by what y'all say in this book. And then it was just so many contradictions I brought up as a child. So they thought I was going to be a preacher when I was young. They was like, oh, he's going to be a preacher. I was like...
Up in the clouds and going. Do you wanna fly with me?
All right, I do ask you to go on ahead and check out, and then if you should so feel, subscribe to my live channel, Pretty Hotel 333, as that is when we do our live reads. All right, let's see what y'all got going on.
Shop for 369 merch right now.
Bucket hats, $36.99.
Camo bear,
$29.99. Don't miss out.
go online now.
Click the link in the description.
Because everybody got these different abilities, but it's like, okay, so why don't we just expand more on what we do? Like, you got light workers, people that can change the energy in your body. So why aren't we have centers for that? You know, why are we still taking pharmaceuticals? We got remote viewers, so why can't we find missing people?
Well, you know, that's what they say. I'm gonna say they, whoever they is, but that's what they say. It's like on is it Sirius B? Everyone's job is related to them. So your light workers literally do. And also they don't work for money. Like, everybody works for the one. Like, for, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they say that it is. Do you know what are your thoughts on souls that originate not on Earth?
I don't know. I'm mixed on it because that's what people tell me. I've had numerous tarot readers tell me I'm not from here. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not from here, but I don't know what to call it. I don't know if I don't view it as another planet. I kind of just view it as another universe, so to say. But I think that everybody comes from a different place. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily call it a planet. I think that this matrix that we in allows us to see 9 dimensions at once. Those dimensions are other lives. And through those dimensions, we're also tapped into those memories. So some people see their other lives when they were on another planet. Some people see their other lives when they were not in human form. They could have been a beast or some type of animal. And I think all of those existences exist within us now, like being in this matrix. So that's when I hear people say, I'm from Pleiades, or I'm from here, or I'm from this planet. I think they're telling the truth, because I believe that was a dimension that they existed in. I don't necessarily look at it as a linear time that it's a planet out there right now and that's where they from.
Okay, so in another galaxy per se, with other planets, how does that fit into? Because I follow what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So that's not necessarily, that's just like a different reality, right? That they were in. What time is fluid? All of that, right? Mm-hmm. What about the stuff that's outside of this? Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting that right.
When I went outside of everything, I saw it as a box. Like this box, it's like a square box that contains all these different realities, and outside of this is just whatever you want to make. Like, I believe this is a controlled reality.
Who's controlling it if not us?
I think it's us. It's just the reason for the amnesia is on purpose. It's like a video game. Like, that's how I view everything. Like, this plane or this dimension is a level in a video game. Once you leave this body, you still get to go to another life, another existence. It's not going to be the same. You might still have food, but you may not eat apples. Apples might be purple in that world. And they might be poison in that world. So it's like, it'll be slight little differences in each reality, but they're controlled realities, like parameters, like a computer program.
Oh, have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah.
Do you mean like that?
Yeah. So that movie, that's basically how I dream. Like, ever since I was a kid, I would dream in 9 different layers. I would go to 9 different realities within 8 hours of sleep.
That's exhausting.
But that made me realize how complicated I can process information. If I was able to remember 9 different realities and have different lives, and then wake up and go to school and still remember what I did in those dreams and where they are, because that's what I was trying to tell my mother. I'm like, I'm not having dreams. These are real places, because I'm remembering streets. I remember people. I know where to go. I'm not just having random dreams. These have to be real places, because I'm not getting it from TV. I'm not getting it from nowhere in my reality. I'm seeing things that don't even exist in my reality. Like I saw cell phones and drones when I was little, and it wasn't even in existence yet. But I didn't know how to describe it to people. I was just like, I had this small little TV in my hand that I used to touch in my dream. And then I said these cameras used to follow me around, but they had fly around like helicopters, but they were small. They were drones, but I didn't know how to describe it back then.
Right.
Late at night, I feel like on my feet, looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine, it's like I found a portal to another time. The channel with a mystical flair, gotta make the light sunset and clear. 369Dimension readings take me to the higher place. I'm locking my intuition, feeling spirits embrace. From the path to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
Because if I had a group of people, it's like, am I dead and don't know? Because the answer is kind of yes, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a very simple way to I guess say it. But okay, so can I ask your opinion on this? I was watching I'm always watching something, but I was watching something a while back, maybe like a month or so ago. And a lady was talking about how she went to sleep and she woke up, right? But when she woke up, she was not in the reality that she went to sleep in. When she woke up, and she like described it, and I don't remember all the details, so I won't try, but basically something along the lines of she thought she was still in a dream, right? She's like this, but she went to sleep in that dream and woke up to the point where she was missing home, and she just realized like, okay, this is obviously not some sort of dream, like I don't know, this is my reality now. Met somebody, had a whole son, raised the son until he was like in his 40s, and she like lived a life, like got a job, had all of that, right? And then one day she went to sleep and then woke up back in this reality, and then she said it fucked her up because she actually like lived a life, like had, she said, genuine feelings for her son and like her loved ones and friends in that reality, because she had finally come to terms with like, I don't know what happened, but I'm just not going back there. So she had built a whole life, and then she went to sleep one day and she woke up back in this life, and she said it really fucked her up for a while because she had to mourn the son that she raised for 40 years or whatever and all of that shit. And what do you think about that? Because I found it really interesting, and I wish that I knew her because I would have questions.
I don't know. I think it's possible because time moves differently when you dream. Like if you watch the movie Inception, I was able to do this. What they do in that movie, I started doing that when I was in the 3rd grade. I can go in a dream within a dream. I would go into 3 different dreams, and when you go to sleep, when you're having your initial dream, time moves 3 times faster than waking time, but it plays out normal. So I did a little test where I went to sleep, and then within that dream, I'll find this location. It was usually like my grandmother's house. I'll go cover myself up in a dream and go to sleep again. and then I'll find another spot, go to sleep again, and I'll be in that dream for like a week. So it'll be days passing. I'm literally getting up, eating, talking to people, go to sleep, wake up again, and I'm still in a dream. And then I'm like, damn, it's Tuesday. And then I'm like, damn, it's Wednesday. And I when I first did it, I panicked like, oh shit, I'm dead. I think I'm dead. Because I've been in this dream for so long and time is running regular. It seemed real. So I'm like, there's no way I'm still asleep. And when I woke up, only 3 hours passed, but it was like 3 days.
That'd be trippy.
So I think those people, I think it is possible to leave. And because I've left my body while driving and don't even know how I got to my location without crashing. But I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
Visually, like I'm daydreaming literally, and I'm there, and then I'll just come back like, oh shit, how the fuck? I'm gripping the steering wheel. What the fuck did I just do? And I left and went somewhere else. So somehow this body can be on automation without you in it.
It's just trippy.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I was that lady though, or you feel like you have to mourn. I don't know. I mean, I've definitely had dreams where I felt like I could feel like like I've woken up feeling like with leftover emotion from a dream, and me having to like go outside legit and touch some grass and try to ground myself like, okay. And I've had those situations where it's like take me damn near an hour to just get back to
This period may bring an unwelcome letter or news, perhaps from or about a sick person. Unfulfilled desires for knowledge or unrealized goals are also possible now. Projects, plans, or ideas that begin now will be challenging and require more work than imagined. Doing things halfway or sporadically will not work. Distractions and a lack of focused effort could bring disappointments in this regard.
Hey, you want to turn up the volume on your medical cannabis wellness journey, but don't know how? You want the ease of getting the products you need delivered to your front door? Then follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1, go to nugmd.com, your portal to a hassle-free path to medical cannabis. Answer a few quick questions and see if you qualify for a medical recommendation letter. It's a remix of convenience and ease. Don't worry, you only pay if you're approved. Step 2, congratulations! You're approved and armed with your medical recommendation letter. Now, you can use the official 369 Music Talk Higher.Health link to sign up and make your first purchase. Step 3, head over to Higher.Health, your go-to destination for premium cannabis essentials. From soothing strains to focus-boosting blends, they've got the beats covered. Turn up the wellness, turn up the creativity. Visit nugmd.com and Higher.Health today. nugmd.com and Higher.Health, your rhythm to wellness unlocked.
Crazy how that happens. It is experiences. I mean, I guess that's really what all this is, one big experiment on top of millions and millions and millions and millions of little ones. But it is interesting how experience things, pain even is a teacher. Pain is always a teacher. But it's just like, damn, I gotta hurt though. Like I can't earn it without the hurt part.
Yeah, that's the part that drives me crazy.
But I can't say I have learned and continuously learning how to deal with pain and handle it so much better. Not to say that I enjoy it, because that is far from the truth, but I'm at a point now where it's like, okay, Nick, what am I what I need. Even shit when I bite my tongue, I'm like, fuck, what was I? Was I not supposed to say that? Like, damn, okay. Or like sometimes, you know, I'll be thinking a thought that's I probably shouldn't be thinking. I'll bump the shit out of my elbow or some shit, you know, just pain. That's bringing it down to the smallest, minute levels. But then you have like your big pains, like the shit that be really sucking, and those be the biggest teachers.
But it's like as I got older, I understand how it works to where you're taught systems and you adapt that system as your reality. It's the same thing for tarot, where it's certain people that never go outside of tarot, and you're not understanding that it's actually under something else. It's not even the whole, it's a fraction of something. So I never wanted to learn like a fraction of something. I want to know as much as possible.
Right.
I always want to get to the source, to the original point of inception of how this was created.
Feel it.
I don't knock anybody. It's because I look at it as everybody's kind of speaking a different language. Because some people, they may not be religious, but they might be into what is it, like Igbo? Is that what it's called?
Oh, you're talking about like the, I know what you're talking about.
Where you have all these Orishas and different gods. I view that as it's all different versions of you.
Okay.
But I understand when I hear certain people talk. I still listen to people, but it irks me sometimes, like when I have conversations with certain people, like when my mother passed and she wanted me to tell my father something, and I had put it off for a long time because I'm like, yo, you know, y'all were religious. What's the point of me telling him this stuff? He's not going to believe it. And it was like my mother just kept coming to me like, tell him, you got to tell him. I'm like, he's not going to believe me. He's not going to listen to me. And she was the one that told me, you know, make a video and start doing videos. And so I recorded a video for my father and, you know, passed a message on that my mother wanted me to tell him. And he was like, you know, you was right. Everything that you said was right in the video. And no, I wouldn't have listened to you if you would have tried to tell me this. Because I told him, I said, you know, if I would have tried to tell you this, you would have just changed the subject and you would have started talking about the Bible and said, God did this and God told me this. And he was like, yeah, you're right. And then still after that, he still goes back into his church stuff. You know, like I don't celebrate holidays. And he'd be like, why don't you come here for Christmas? I'm like, I don't, you know, I celebrate every day. I don't celebrate holidays.
So you wouldn't, just because they celebrate it, if you were just like, no. Because
I know what the environment is going to be like. I know what they're going to be talking about. It's going to be the same depressing things. People are talking about how sick they are, how hard they work. Everything is like an old slave rally talk. So it's like, I don't want to go into that energy of everything is just always down and then you're eating bad foods. It's just, the energy is just down.
Not eating bad food. Well, I guess typically, yeah, you're not bad foods. I feel you. It's draining. It's draining. I get it.
So it's just, I'd rather just be around or talk to people where my energy isn't going down or I have to repeat the same mundane topics over and over. That gets boring.
It does. And I check out. They just be talking and I be like, huh?
Oh yeah, come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh face and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave, fly factory barber lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA. Give them a call or just stop on by. They'll hook you up and make you look so fly. Come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh face and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave, fly factory barber lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA. Looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine. It's like I found a portal to another time. The channel with a mystical flair. Gotta make the lesson set and clear. 369Dimension readings take me to the higher place. Unlocking my intuition, feeling spirits embrace. From the path to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
If I had a group of people, it's like, am I dead and don't know? Because the answer is kind of yes, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a very simple way to I guess say it. But
how can I explain this? The labels is what's kind of puts the filter on your brain of how you view it. But basically, when you know that everything is happening all at the same time, all at once, it's these different levels, right? So the way I view this is kind of like a computer matrix that we are in. It's a grid system. If you apply everything that we do, basically everything that we create and do is a duplication of what we are. From our energy to the actual physical body, the things that we create are based on what we are. Since this is a computer matrix, which is a computer, if you think of a grid system, if we're functioning on a certain plane, that means that there's a duplication of that same energy on another plane. So this is kind of like how you meet like your soul group or soul tribe, or people that remember you from other lives. People that kind of gravitate towards you.
no, I was gonna say. So I think that's where maybe I can get hung up. So you're saying, so basically, like a parallel is like a parallel dimension, or like a like you said, everything happening at the same time, right? Because it is, and this is just what we're tapped into right now.
Yeah.
So that's like the part that I'm maybe a little remedial, but I'm still like, grasping that. So we're tapped in right here, right now. That's why this is what I'm focusing on right now. So what you're saying is, in the grid, the same thing is happening too, with a different version.
Yeah, you have to draw a picture really to see it. Think of a plane, right? We're on this plane, and there's another plane, same thing, different little variations, but it's like you're on this one, you can still be on this one. Same people that you know on that plane, you're going to eventually cross them on this plane, but they may not be the same characters. They may not be your brother or your sister, your mother or your father. They might be somebody else on that different plane. But it's like you cross paths and you'll be like, I know you, and you have this energy bond. So you may become friends in that other plane. You may become lovers in that plane. But you know that there is some type of connection beyond what you were taught. And then it's also like time isn't what you think it is. Time is real hard to explain. It doesn't actually exist. It's a perception.
Right. I mean, it simplifies things like for the human mind. Okay. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to backtrack really quick. Going back to what you were saying with the different characters. So I have a different understanding. It could be all of these things, right? But like, it's my understanding that like, when we, I guess, decided to come here or whatever, like signed up for our roles or whatever, those same people, like you're saying on the planes, like, so maybe someone was my brother or my sister, they might be like my father, or like a cousin or something on this side, right? But over here, this is what they were. It was my understanding that those would be two like separate lifetimes. So like someone that could have been like my sister in a different lifetime, because we're part of the same soul tree, or grouping or family, we're going to be together on all of the journeys, right? But just with different characters. But what you're saying is that it's happening at the same time, but differently.
Yeah, because this is like when you do a reading, and then when somebody says, well, I'm picking up past life issues or trauma, that label itself, past life, can be misleading, because that's what we're taught to use that word to. You are, and then your perception of how you view it is, you'll feel it as it happened before. There really is no such thing as before and after. That time dilation is what we use to describe the event. To us, we'll just say it's past, but it really could be parallel.
Got it.
Because it's happening at the same time. But that same energy can coincide with that person because it is a part of their multiplicity existence. You're a multi-dimensional being, multifunctional.
So we're living in it's a program, right? Let's say that it's like going back to the grid that you were saying. There's a me over here and a me over here, and we're all coexisting at the same time, right? This is just what I'm honed in on. What does that even look like when you involve the spirit world? Like, is the spirit world, is that the spirit realm, I should say, right? Is that part of a program as well? How does one tie into another, and how is it that we live in a matrix, right? And we're multi-dimensional beings. Okay, that's fine. Then where does our soul essence eat? Because, and maybe it's the way my brain works, because I'm looking at it like two ways. So we're in a matrix, right? To me, that's very cut and dry, very much ABC. It's a program. It's written, very calculated, right? But then at the same time, being a multi-dimensional being, right, it's quite the opposite. At least it feels that way of a program. I don't know how to say it, but it's like on one hand we have the matrix, which is very simply put like computer programming, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand you have a very like fluid, soul warm, multi-dimensional properties. Like, how is that coexist? How is that all the same thing? How do they tie into each other? Like, that's for me something that I ponder and I just don't, I have no answer. And it's not even so much as simple as the answer is within me. I don't know what doors I need to unlock within me, but I would really like to understand.
All right, this is my breakdown. Since we are a chaotic energy, we're all things everywhere at the same time. In order for that chaotic energy to start forming some type of understanding, there has to be some type of linear movement. That's where the time and stuff starts coming in. You start collapsing things, fragmenting things to form storylines. Because chaotic energy is everywhere all at the same time. We just believe that we can't be everywhere all at the same time because of what we're taught. But this matrix itself, or what's the word, fragmented to where we see it more. So we have the stars, right? We have ley lines. The stars, astrology, those stars aren't actually in a line. They're not like Orion's belt isn't actually a straight line of stars. They're not even by each other. We just perceive it as that.
Right.
But with these stars and these ley lines that we notice on the ground and the ocean, that certain things happen at certain points on the ground and above based on where this light is at and at this point at the ground. We get our facial features based off the ley lines and the stars, our existence, what we look like. So that's the same thing as grafting. When you're on a computer and you're making an image, you have a grid system, which you have a vertical lines, you have points. It's like an XY axis, XYZ axis for us.
I got it. Okay, so that just brought that into, okay, so that makes sense. And so what you're saying is like, that's how the different properties. I think I get what you're saying. I don't really know how to say it, but I think I understand what it is you're saying. So if certain things are lined up on the grid, I guess, so to speak, in the program, that's what determines what is happening now here versus what is happening now.
So we're in another plane, in another dimension.
Right. Yeah, then there's the layers to the shit. So on this layer, right here at this coordinate, at this that's what's happening here in this now. But in this now over here, because you're on this layer right here, I think I found it. I don't really know how.
And it's not supposed to be uniform. Keep trying to understand it in a uniform way of, we're all seeing it at different points in time. That's why you have certain people that say, hey, I'm from this planet, or this person says I'm from another time, because that's what their memory and experience is on right now. Everybody experience is different. So the only way we can ever really understand it all collectively, we have to share information. We have to talk to each other. We have to share these experiences.
This powerful creative card will give you the blessings of a quick, powerful, and very creative mind this period, and to a lesser extent for the entire year. This power can be applied with great success to any project that involves writing or other creative mental pursuits. You may even get some ideas for projects that are far ahead of their time. This card can also represent an initiation into a new way, or for of thinking or communicating.
Another person, like you said, you sent me the thing about Cat Williams. Yeah. Now he said, okay, there's a God because there's something for everything, which isn't true. He's saying blanket statements. So when you make blanket statements, some people get, yeah, that does make sense. You're just making blanket statements. You're not actually deep diving into everything. Because it's like, okay, so what's the purpose of all these predators, insects, bugs, worms, stuff that really don't actually have a purpose? I didn't have bugs in the other life that I existed in. This is a new thing that freaked me out. So it's
okay.
Like I don't like bugs. I don't see any purpose for them at all.
Well, bees. So if that one thing they was talking about was bees. Bees do a lot. I'm not gonna break it down because I don't want to get too off topic.
I think it was just we created it though. I still think we created all this stuff through.
But who is we? Like that's the thing. It's like we, as in a whole bunch of us's, or we as in one, just like one source that we are all little tentacles of.
I don't know, to me this is like a purgatory, heaven and hell matrix, that there are multiple entities in here. You could say it's a whole. You can also say that this matrix is actually a person or a brain.
Well, one big brain, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. It's so many things that you can call it, because that's the purpose of being multifaceted, multifunctional, multidimensional. And that's the part that people forget. It's like you keep trying to fragment it into this small compartment when you're an abundance of things. So when you're trying to even understand the information, you keep trying to fragment it and restrict it versus accepting what you really are. So when I look at bees and certain animals, because when I was in school we were taught certain things, and that's what makes me feel like we're constantly going through Mandela effects and don't even realize it. So when I was in school, I was taught that chickens and the eagle were created from the dodo bird. So even as a child, I'm like, okay, so they already had the technology to clone and duplicate way back then. But now in the history books and everything, they teach us that chickens been around and eagles been here since forever, and it's a part of ancient history. And I'm just like, so the information just keeps changing. It changes to adapt to the thought of belief. Whatever makes you believe, that's what it changes to. Cats and dogs were also created. They were genetically modified from bears and wolves and lions and leopards.
I was gonna say, so you weren't taught, I think, what was it? Not Darwinism. evolution? You weren't taught that? You were taught that
they put that in there too. They put that evolution, which evolution sounded fake because that didn't make sense. How did it evolve and nothing? It just stopped evolving. But I already did my research on Darwinism. You just have to do your research on that. Even evolution.
That's what we were taught anyway.
Yeah.
It's so strange because I have had an experience, well, probably multiple, but just one that I'm able to remember as it was somewhat recent within the last year, where I wrote it down, even though it wasn't a dream, but I didn't really know how else to like classify it. But like I was not asleep, but I was not, I guess, fully awake. Like I had just come out of sleep, but I wasn't asleep. I don't really know how else to say it, but I did have a thing where I was like in a dream state, you could say, where I jumped off of a bridge, right? But jumped off of a bridge into water, but the water ended up being a tube, a really like long tube. And when I say I wasn't like sleep, I remember like I felt everything. I was fine, like I wasn't scared. Like I intentionally did this, and it was like I ended up being somewhere else. It was like time was passing, like, and I could almost feel like wind, if you want to say. I can't really, but it was a tube, and it was like dark purpley. Anyway, I ended up on this, I guess you could say, ship. Yeah, maybe like a ship or something. And actually, I haven't even really spoken this out loud. But anyway, dude, we get there because it was me and like other individuals, and it was like this general or like sergeant or someone in charge that was basically like barking commands, and I don't remember what it is, he was saying. I just remember the feeling, and me feeling like, okay, I have to take in all of this information, like telling myself, pay attention, and just taking in all this information. And like, just remember, like, I didn't have a fear, I wasn't scared, but it was more like a focus. I have to get this information, and everybody was like focused on what this general was telling us. And then we were like sprayed down with this really cold fluid. Was that, I guess you could say it was like water, but it was like, it was freezing cold. And I remember having the thought that it was uncomfortable, I guess you could say. And then as soon as I was like sprayed down, I woke up, but I wasn't asleep. And I immediately, like, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, but I didn't forget, and I was awake. I can't explain it though, but I wasn't asleep. And so I have nowhere to place that experience because
you're shifting into one of your other cells. You're catching yourself shifting into one of your other cells. That's what that is. Because I always tell people to do this, like, before you go to sleep. I'm pretty sure you've done this, probably like said something like as you were falling asleep, and then be like, what the fuck did I just say? Because you start talking, because you're shifting into that other person, your other self of you. And then you might dream for like a quick second, and you done seen a whole bunch of shit, and you wake up and like, what the fuck was that? So when you're trying to start catching yourself go into that other life and be aware. And most of the time we're usually focused on the body, how the body feels. We're listening to the breathing, or we're feeling our arm, our leg or something, and it kind of distracts us from falling into that sleep. But just try to write that down. Catch yourself when you're blurt out something, when you kind of just shift and catch yourself right before that sleep. It's like, okay, I'm finna fall into another dimension of myself, but I need to pay attention and just watch. Don't panic. Don't try to judge it. Just watch.
I'm gonna try to do that tonight. That's what I'm gonna do. Just try to catch it. See. I feel like I got homework.